The views, information, and opinions expressed during the following program are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent the views of Access Communications, its representatives, or its employees.
Okay, good evening everyone and welcome to the regular council meeting of June 24th. I will call the meeting to order. We don't have any presentations tonight. Could I have a motion please to adopt the agenda as presented? Thank you. Councillor Ford, seconder. Councillor Clark, ready for the question? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under original communications, delegations, and petitions, we have from Jennifer Gahinka, the Saskatchewan Brain Injury Association sponsorship. And what? Minutes first. Oh, I jumped to minutes, sorry. Could we have a motion, please, to accept the minutes of June 10th, 24? Thank you. Councillor Cernick. Councillor Vroba, you wanted to wait and be the seconder this evening.
Because Councillor Cernick had his hand up already, so I didn't think...
Oh, you're so sweet.
Thank you.
Okay, ready for the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, next, now we go to under original communications, delegations, and petitions. Jennifer Kahinka, Saskatchewan Brain Injury Association. Thank you for allowing me to have a fundraiser for the Saskatchewan Brain Injury Association. Could you please consider making a sponsorship from the City of Estevan for the Saskatchewan Brain Injury Association? There are more and more survivors in our province every day. You can find out more information on www.sbia.ca. I know a $1,000 donation will allow you to have the City of Estevan name on the back of a t-shirt. The Saskatchewan Brain Injury Association has to know this information before July 1st, 24. Please consider this. I'm also collecting raffle prizes from businesses in Estevan as I intend to organize a raffle for this event. If a sponsorship isn't affordable, would you consider donating an item for the raffle, please? I'll definitely be in touch before the event to have you in attendance. The president of the Saskatchewan Brain Injury Association and my survivors group will be in attendance for sure. What's the wish of council? Councillor Vroba.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, we had tabled this item from our last meeting, and it was mainly to do with the fact of where the sponsorship money would go to. And I think it mainly goes to the provincial coffer for the Saskatchewan Brain Injury. And so I think it's wonderful what Jennifer's doing, but I would be more comfortable with just supporting this in a way of having a
item
for the raffle. If we could do a few tourism items and put them into some type of a little gift basket, and then that way we'd still be supporting it. And I think a lot of people are donating individually as well. So.
Okay, perhaps our most coveted blanket, City of Estevan blanket. Yes. Which people come from other countries for.
Yes, and I do know that you pass them out quite regularly to people who turn 100 in the City of Estevan. So yeah. I think that that would make a wonderful gift. So I would make that motion that we do an auction, a raffle item.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Vroba. Councillor Ford.
Thanks, Your Worship. And I was the one that was adamant on tabling this till this meeting. And I thought about Councillor Vroba's words from last meeting and kind of took a look at the sponsorship package. And I'm okay just providing raffle prizes for this event. And I'm going to sign up myself. So I hope to see everybody else there as well. And I'll second the motion. Okay,
thank you for that. Any questions, comments, observations from the rest of council? Seeing none, ready for the question? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under original communications, delegations, and petitions, we have the GFL CART report for April and May. Could we have a motion, please, to accept? Can we do both, City Clerk? Yes, we can. Thank you, Councillor Clark. Seconder. Thank you, Councillor Cernick. Ready for the question? All in favor? Thank you. Did you have a comment, Councillor Walliser? No? Okay, good. Next, under original communications, delegations, and petitions, we have from Mr. Josh Biggs. He would like to have a block party liquor permit for August 17th of 24. Dear Estevan Council, I'd like to request a permit for a block party on Hawke's Bay, August 17th. I'm requesting permission to close Hawke's Bay to vehicle traffic from 3 p.m. August 17th to 11 p.m. on August 17th to allow for a block party. We hosted a block party last summer. It was a great time without incident. He also plans to set up 1 or 2 bouncy castles on the street, live bands playing from 6 till 11. Last year, we rented the stage from the city. This year, in this request, we would like to request a stage be given as a donation to help foster and promote events like this. We will look after transportation and setup of the stage. Alternatively, a 40-foot trailer may be used as a stage placed across the street, but in a manner that allows emergency vehicle access and egress. Family-friendly atmosphere with up to 300 guests. Each resident will be allowed to invite guests. The party will be open to invited guests only, so I request that council does not crash this particular party. 2 porta potties will be rented. A non-sale permit will be applied for through SLGA to allow liquor consumption by adults. Barriers at the entrance of the bay will be closed, of course, allowing emergency access egress, a complimentary shuttle bus available. Wow, this man knows how to throw a party. Meal will be prepared potluck style by residents of the bay. The deputy fire chief has assessed the anticipated location of the stage and is comfortable that it will not impact the ability to get emergency vehicles in or out. What's the wish of council? Councillor Walliser.
Thank you, Your Worship. A question to the city manager about the barriers. Is that something that we provide at no cost for block parties currently?
Thank you, Councillor Walliser. From my understanding, yes, we will do the roadblock off free of charge.
In my opinion, we should not be providing our stage as a donation. There is a considerable cost to the man hours required, and because it is a weekend, that would be a further consideration for not setting up and using our stage. But I am in favor of supporting the request for the party itself and the use of our barricades free of charge.
Okay, thank you. You'll make that motion. Okay, thank you. Any other discussion items? Have we got a seconder on that? Councillor Clark, you'll second that? Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, ready for the question? All in favor? Carried. Thank you for that. Okay. Next, under written reports of committees, we have the Estevan Public Library minutes of May 21st. Could we have a motion, please, for those? Thank you. Councillor Vroba, seconded by Councillor Walliser. Any questions or comments on that? Seeing none, ready for the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under written reports of committees, we have from the Board of Police Commissioners the Community Perception Survey by the University of Regina. The key individual on this was Nicholas A. Jones, Dr. Nicholas A. Jones, with his PhD from the University of Regina. It's in-depth perception. It was very positive of the EPS, and we appreciate the work that's gone into this. Any questions or comments from council? Councillor Ford.
Thanks, Your Worship. I'm on the police board, so we were presented this about a week or so ago, and I think it's just important to note, I'm certain, this is a big document to read, so I understand that a lot of people won't read it, but I think it's really important to note that when you're skimming through it, some of the statistics, like over the past 12 months, how would you say the visibility of the police have decreased in the community or not? Examples like that. We're seeing a lot of trends where those numbers are actually decreasing, and those are due to a lot of factors that are outside of actual police presence at events, and mainly COVID being one of them. A lot of people don't go to events, or didn't at the time when this, when some of these numbers were being compiled from 2019 to 2023, and just some exterior factors. So if you're looking at some of these numbers and you're being completely shocked, being like, oh my gosh, the police don't come to community events anymore, or just shocked by some things, just maybe just take a quick read through some of the preamble to those statistics and see if there's any external factors, because there are in some of these examples.
Okay, thank you, City Clerk. Should we have a motion to approve this?
Yes.
Okay. Councillor Ford, thank you. Have we got a seconder? Thank you. Councillor Cernick, ready for the question? All in favor? Thank you very much. Next, under written reports, we've got SETPC minutes, Southeast Transportation Planning Committee minutes of May 28th of 24. Could we have a motion, please, to accept these? Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Walliser. Thank you. Any comments you'd like to make, Councillor Clark?
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. I'm just going to touch on one with Highway 18 West has become that they're going to fix that up, not this year, but the next year. They have decided, or the tender came out and they're not doing the first 3 kilometers. It's probably in some better shape, but we have a segment improvement part of that, and I've nominated it for segment improvement because I think over the next 2 years, with the traffic that's going to go down there to do with solar panels and the transmission station that's getting built, plus the gravel that they're going to haul for that road, that it will probably deteriorate and probably will be need of repair. So I just hate to see that 3 kilometers being left undone. So I am going to put that forward that I think they should add it to the program, and hopefully we can get some discussion on that, whether it can be finished. So I will do that at the meeting, and that meeting is tomorrow.
Okay, appreciate that, and hopefully our minister will agree with that, and we can do the whole section. Okay, ready for the question? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under executive reports, we have from the City Treasurer the credit card policy. Anything, Trudy, you'd like to elaborate on that? It's pretty self-explanatory. Okay. You're going to save your voice for cheering at the game tonight? Yeah. Okay, understood. Could we have a motion, please, to accept the credit card policy? Thank you, Councillor Cernick. Seconded by Councillor Ford. Ready for the question? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under executive reports, we have from Land Development, DP 040-2024, moved in dwelling, 522 First Street. Okay, yes. Richard, please set up to the hot seat. That'll be good. Thank you for coming this evening. So Land Development has received an application for development approval. Details are as provided. The proposal is to relocate one of the homes that's currently located on Kensington Avenue. That would be at Advance, I would believe. And those homes are pretty much ready to move, and anything that isn't done, you'll make sure is done when they do move them, right, Richard?
Yes.
Anything you have to say on this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mayor and Council. One thing that we have looked at on this proposal, and we've got support from the developer in this case, is to avoid situations like what has happened when you had the last housing boom around 2016, where you have a building and it's a sidewall of the building facing the street. And then when you're driving down the street, all you see in the building is maybe a few vents and what have you. So the developer in this case was very cooperative, and so there's going to be windows put in there. So it's not going to look like a blank wall when because it's going to be the narrowest portion of the house facing the street in this case. This proposal was referred to the neighborhood, and we did not receive any inquiries regarding it.
Good. Thank you, Richard, for that. Any questions or comments on this? Seeing none, Councillor Roba.
Thank you, Worship. I was just going to make the recommendation or the motion that we proceed to allow them to move that in. I did do a street view on it, and I think it will fit in quite nicely in that lot, and especially with having the windows where he's going to locate them and the basement windows, and I'm actually preferring it without having the door as the original drawing had it. So I think it'll be very good to be there, and that'll be a nice home in that area. So for everyone in the neighborhood, obviously that's why they don't have a problem with it, because it is a newer looking home that's being moved in. So yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Broba. We've got a seconder, Councillor Clark. Any further comments, questions? Saying, Councillor Willies.
Just to clarify, that motion is with the 3 suggested recommendations added?
Sorry, Councillor Willies, my motion was just to allow the home to be moved in. Let me go back.
Yeah, and I think the recommendations, Councillor Willies,
Yes.
are quite acceptable. Building plans submitted,
Yeah.
consistent with submitted drawings, showing windows on the street, on the house side facing the street. Grading plan to be submitted prior to occupancy to ensure proper drainage. Home and garage to be finished in a manner that's aesthetically pleasing, compatible to the surrounding neighborhood. I think those are all fine.
Yes, that's all part of the motion. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying that, though.
Okay. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, next, land development, fast gas, existing pole sign, 942 4th Street. Okay, so with the change in ownership from Husky Oil to Fast Gas, Parkland Oil, the new owner would like to obtain an updated approval for the pole sign, which is located at the intersection of Souris Ave and 4th Street. Anything else, Richard, you'd like to add?
Thank you. This proposed agreement has gone back and forth between myself and Fast Gas, their legal team. It's over several months. And one of the issues that came up that's unusual is that they're asking for a fairly lengthy extension of our normal times, but I have reviewed that with Roads and Drainage and with City Engineering, and they're fine with the timelines that are provided. There's no long-term plan for road widening in that location that would cause a conflict with that pole sign. And if there was, there's still a notice period that City Engineering can work with to have that sign removed if we have to use that right away.
Okay, thank you, Richard. I guess I was just wondering a little about the price. $150 a year seems pretty cheap. Is that in line with other communities?
I wouldn't be able to confirm whether that's in line with other communities. It is in line with our fees bylaw at this point. The draft agreement does allow, however, that if our fees do change over time, that the increase would be, retroactive to the following year. So.
Okay, thank you for that. And perhaps we should check with our, communities of similar size to make sure that we're in the neighborhood, if you would.
Thank you, Mayor. What I could do is I can include that as one of the things that I'll do a check on, because I bring the fees by law up annually for review. So.
Okay, thank you. What's the wish of council on this? Councillor Cernick.
I'll make the motion to approve the agreement, the draft agreement so far. And folks in back there, go ahead with it.
Okay, thank you. Have we got a seconder? Councillor Ford, thank you. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, ready for the question. All in favor? Carrie? Thank you.
Land development services.
Okay, next from Land Development, DP 039-2024, display sheds on 206 4th Street. Would you like to go over that, Richard?
Thank you, Your Worship and Council. I imagine everyone on Council is familiar with this. It's near the Tim Hortons on 4th that used to be a motel there. And this is a result of an enforcement action on our part because we drove by one day and just saw those sheds there. When we did our bylaw, when it was written for display sales, we were the definition was written in a manner that would accommodate things like prairie dog or the lot that's beside Subway. We never contemplated that a person would be putting buildings in there on display for sale, but there is the same or similar use provision in the bylaw that can be used in this case, and that's how we're here today. For my department's view, these sheds are in no way unsightly, and I think it's better to have them there. It fills that area of the city a little bit better than having that just as a vacant property. The landowner, of course, is on board with it. The only thing I've asked of the landowner in this case is if it is approved that the no parking sign be turned around or removed, so that it doesn't tell people if they want to go and look at those buildings that they have to park on the street. There's lots of parking left there. So I'm recommending approval of this development permit, after which a business license can be issued for the Horizon Sheds Company.
Okay, thank you, Richard. Councillor Clark.
I'll make the motion to approve that recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Walliser. Thank you. Any further questions, comments? Seeing none, ready for the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. There you go, Richard. Now you get to go watch a hockey game. There you go. Thank you. You as well. Next, under introduction of bylaws, we have none this evening. Public hearings and reports, we have none this evening. Giving notice, none this evening. Motions from committee, none this evening. Consideration of bylaws. We have bylaw 2024-2085, our cemetery bylaw. We need second and third reading tonight. This has gone out to our public, and they've had the opportunity to discuss and give back any issues that they may have. City Manager, I don't think we had any, did we? Nothing? Okay, thank you. So with that, could I have a motion, please, for bylaw 2024-2084, a bylaw of the City of Estevan to provide for the control and regulation of municipal cemeteries in the City of Estevan. Thank you, Councillor Vroba. Thank you, Councillor Walliser. This is second, so any questions, comments you may have, please bring them up at this opportunity. Seeing none, ready for the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Now I will ask for third reading and adoption for use of bylaw 2024-2084, a bylaw in the City of Estevan to provide for the control and regulation of municipal cemeteries in the City of Estevan. Thank you, Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Ford. Ready for the question? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Inquiries. Councillor Vroba.
Thank you, Worship. I had a few emails come in, and one was the Cemetery Road, I guess is for the City Manager, facing north. The west side of the road is basically having dirt unloaded there. And they're just wondering, because it used to be a very large slough, and they're wondering if the city is dumping dirt there and planning on filling in the whole area eventually, or is that dirt just being dumped there for storage at this time?
Thank you, Councillor Vroba. I've sent the question on. I haven't got a response back from the division. I will report that back to council once I have the answer.
Okay.
Yeah, my understanding, Councillor Vroba, they're filling that slough in.
Okay, and then the other question is that on the corner of Hudson and King Street, so I guess it was more of an inquiry as to whether or not we were aware of a type of hole that's on that, right in that ground there. It's got a piece of wood covered with some dirt. They're concerned that somebody could fall into that hole, and we were aware of it. So that was also passed along to the city manager. So if anyone else has seen that hole, it's on our radar now. And then the last one was regarding in the valley. When you go down into the valley, there is quite a few. On King, sorry, I should clarify that. There's quite a few deer that pass through there. So I know I see them, I go there quite regularly, especially in the winter. And I've even had people where we've had to stop because there's 10, 12 of them that are passing through. So her comment was whether or not we've ever considered having a deer crossing sign put up on both sides when you enter the valley, just to make people aware that, just to be cautious, because when you're driving in the city, you don't always think that a deer is going to jump out at you. But she is correct, that is a spot that a lot of deer do like to jump.
And especially if we've had a few close calls, I'm sure city manager through his offices can get a hold of our people and have a sign put up if
And I
you wish.
think even if you checked with SGI, I'm sure you would find a few that have actually even hit deer there.
Okay.
So, yeah, and those were my 3 comments, and I'm sure one of the other councillors are going to talk about the storm, so I've talked.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Clark.
Thanks, Your Worship. It was at the Souris Valley Museum on the weekend. They had a great day, a heritage day. Had some petting zoo and blacksmith and Aboriginal. Tony and I set up a teepee together. Councillor Verova also attended, so we had great attendance from council, and they're working hard on fundraising for their train painting, and they're selling tickets out there, trying to get things going there. So just encourage them to keep up the good work, and they had a great day, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great, and thank you and the rest of the councillors for your help on that day. Councillor Walliser?
Nothing tonight, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Ford?
Thanks, Your Worship. I unfortunately wasn't able to attend the Heritage Day, but I heard it went
Good.
over really, really well. I was actually coaching ball in the crazy, crazy heat, but it went well. Just a reminder to the community, Estevan Softball is hosting the Provincial U13 Girls Tournament from July 12th to 14 at the Pleasantdale Softball Diamonds. We're going to have some raffles, some 50-50s. Concession will be open. We'll make sure there's some fresh ice cream, hot dogs, hamburgers, so make sure you come out. It's really, really good baseball, or softball, sorry. People hear U13, they're like, oh, those are just little kids, but on the weekend we had one of our kids hit a ball over the fence on 3 separate occasions, and it's very, very good ball. So if you have some time that weekend, please come out and watch.
Awesome, thank you, appreciate that. And as far as the other day, usually I go for bannock and soup. It's always very good, but unfortunately I couldn't make it, so it's great that councillors went out to help out with that. Councillor Cernick? Okay, thank you. City Manager.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just thanks from the Rotary Club of Estevan for everybody who attended Lobster Fest. It was a great event and everything went smoothly, and the Oilers won on the big screen that we had up there, so people are happy to be able to watch that as well.
Yeah, thank you for that. It was a bonus to have it at Affinity, that we got to watch a hockey game. What a great hockey game. It was a fantastic evening. City Treasurer, anything? Nothing? Okay. And City Clerk, anything you'd like to say this evening? Nothing this evening? Okay. Thank you. I'd like to thank our roads and drainage. With the storm, they came out, helped out, get the debris off the street. Also EPS, our police were out. Of course, they worked during the night, but they were out helping out, making sure the debris was taken off the streets safely. And everyone came together. All of our people worked hard to get the traffic going, so we want to thank them for that. Councillor Verova.
Thank you for bringing that up, Your Worship. I just had a question about that. So we have our emergency measures committee, right, that meets monthly, I believe. And so in an event like that last night, where we actually had buildings flying through the air, was that activated in any shape or form, or?
If it was felt that it was needed, Helen would have activated that, Councillor Verova, but it was mainly the one building that the roof partially came off. So I think the thought process was at that time that anything further, probably, we might have been initiating that, but as it was, they thought they had everything under control.
Okay, so we did actually still have a team leader in place, and at that time, she would have made the decision when to activate it.
Yeah, Helen would talk to Jeff, talk to myself and the team, and should we do something? And usually they have a good handle on if we should, and declare like the fire hall an emergency, and then people would gather there, or the comp, and if it's a bigger emergency, absolutely we do that.
Yeah, perfect. No, it's good to know that we have a backup plan at all times for emergency events like that.
Yeah, we have a very capable team, and none is better than Helen. I mean, my goodness, we have to say, and kudos to her, we'll take this opportunity. No one is better in an emergency situation than her. She's been through it lots, and she's very capable.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion to move into committee? Okay, thank you. Councillor Ford, seconded by Councillor Cernick. All in favor? Thank you so much. We stand adjourned. Good evening, everyone.
If you'd like to share your feedback on the program you just watched, contact us today